From the beautiful campus of Casper College, it's the T-Birds Coaches Show, bringing you game breakdowns, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews. Here's your host, Tom Myler.
Hello, T-Bird fans, and welcome to, you guessed, another fantastic episode. We've got Coach Fisher joining us in studio. Welcome back. It is a privilege and a pleasure to have you in here to talk about rodeo, because it's always nice. I always learn something new every time you come in, and maybe one day I'll be able to be cool enough to be like, yeah, I know about rodeo.
You know more than probably the average human.
I mean,
maybe
it helps
not
that
in
I live
Casper.
in Wyoming.
I was gonna say, yeah, you kind of have a leg up just even living here.
That's
but
right.
You go down to Denver and probably school all
there
down.
you go. I appreciate that. I have just below average knowledge of rodeo, but because I get to talk to you, every week. Maybe average knowledge.
There you go.
So here we go. Since we're talking about rodeo, let's talk about rodeo. You had your final rodeo of the fall season, wrapped it up. LCCC is where you were at. Let's start with just that rodeo, and then we'll kind of go broader picture. How do you feel like the team did in Laramie and Cheyenne? Sorry.
They did good. I was really proud of them. We got, again, points on both the men's and women's side, which was really exciting. We only had one woman make the short round, but we had a lot of others have strong showings. It just come up short. We were talking beforehand how it's kind of cutthroat sometimes. There's only 10 that make the short round, and if you're in the breakaway rope and the barrel racing, there's 100 some entered. So, I mean, that's really a 1 in 10 chance. Plus, we've talked about drawing cattle and things like that and all these other variables that are in there, horses, starts, ground. We were indoors this weekend.
That is nice.
Yeah. But all those things come into a factor. So we had a couple girls that didn't make the short round, but they did a lot of good things, and I'm super proud of them and how they finished up. And now we get to work in the off season. And then on the guys' side, Corey James obviously had his best showing of the year. Way to finish off the fall. He won the all-round, won the calf roping, and was second in the team roping with his teammate Wrangle Osborne. Those three. With Corey James and Wrangle getting points in the team roping, and then Corey James getting points in the calf roping, they really did well for the team this weekend.
Yeah, I think for the team, they ended up in third. Corey James ended up with winning the all-around, which was something I can't remember the last time a Casper College cowboy or cowgirl won the all-around. So that's something that kind of fun to see that with this last rodeo of the season that, hey, all right, things are trending in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And, we brought it up beforehand, too, that just kind of that context of, you look at the final results on NYRA, and you're like, okay, well, maybe, you don't really know what happened, but then you bring us, well, there's 100 coat tires, there's, 120 or whatever maybe in the breakaway. It's like, it doesn't mean our team didn't do well, just, and I think you said, 0.3 of a second separated first and 10th. And so it's like, well, that's some stiff competition. You have to be on your absolute A game every rodeo in order to get into that top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. There are good cowboys and cowgirls that don't make short round every weekend. It's just part of the game. And so we strive to be in that top 10. The goal is to make the short round. But we come back to the practice pen. We work hard. Like I said, we start off season. We're gonna get to work. But that doesn't mean we can just hang our heads and be disappointed. There's a lot of good that people don't see outside that top 10.
Well, we're always talking about progress, and it sounds like, hey, you saw a lot of good things. What would you say is probably the one thing you're like, that was really good, let's keep that up?
I thought we scored great this weekend. We were talking, Jason and I, on the way, we traveled to the rodeos together, assistant coach Jason, and we were talking in Lamar how, man, we thought we could have scored better. How do we help them see the star,
Mm-hmm.
all these things about scoring. And I feel like we tried to make some adjustments, but the kids really put the work in, and they turned around and came back this last week, and I feel like they nailed barriers. They were on the start, seeing it right, reading cattle well, did that really well. So,
that's all you can ask for, right? And once again, with that context, like, you can be performing great, but just that stiff competition. This is just, our region, let's think about it. We've got 10 teams roughly? 10,
I think there's
11?
12.
12 teams.
Yep.
And I think 2 or 3 of them are 4-year schools where we're
3.
3.
Yep.
So, yeah, thank you. So, Shattern, UW, and I'm trying to think of the other one.
CSU.
CSU. Oh yeah, I always forget that CSU is in ours.
I know.
But so we got 3-4 years. A lot of them are the 2-year junior colleges. I know people tend to rope at the junior college for more than 2 years, but it's just because we are majority 2-year schools does not mean they're not good. I mean, we've seen it because we've had national champions. We've placed 3rd, 4th recently. It's very tough.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I give all credit to rodeo goers, man. They're tough.
Yeah, I think this region, it pushes you to be better. Like, I think college rodeo in any region, they're not all set up quite like ours. Some of them have one headers, and it's not a long go, short go. But how ours are all long go, short goes, you have to come up and bring your best every time. First time, you can't slack off. You can't just sneak in there. You got to bring your A game every time, whether you're a freshman or a 5th year.
Absolutely. And so you kind of mentioned it already of what I want to go into next. So you performed and got points that you were hoping for this last rodeo of the fall season. Now, what happens with off season between now and when we start spring season? What's kind of, I imagine, just practice, rest? What goes on?
A little bit of everything. These are individuals. Obviously, we're a team, but they're individuals. Their bodies all have special, requirements right now. Some might have a doctor's appointment. Some, we got some people that are banged up. We've got some people that are hungry. And all right, let's get to work. We still will continue to practice. Practices aren't going to be as long. We're going to kind of separate our events up day to day. With it being colder and starting to get darker earlier, those kind of things, let them study a little more.
They are student athletes.
Yeah,
that's a good
but,
point.
We got 4 in a row. We had 4 in a row. We're on the road a little more. That takes a little toll. You're missing class. So use this time to get back in. You're going to those Friday classes again because we miss every Friday when we're gone. Get back to your Friday classes, go to office hours, catch up on a couple things, which our kids do a great job of talking to their professors, and we have great professors here that work with them, and, they have other student athletes usually, and so they're not new to travel and things like that, but just part of that. And then we're going to get in the gym, and we're going to really use this off season to not only build muscle and get stronger, more flexible, things like that, but just injury prevention and things like that.
It is nice to kind of maintain that. And we got a brand new fitness center.
Yes.
I mean, remodeled, not like brand new, but new equipment.
It's
so
cool.
It's really nice.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we'll be able to really utilize that. And I think you mentioned before too, yes, you're not a team, so it's a bunch of individuals. Do you have anybody that you know of or might go off and do some other rodeos, some kind of pro stuff while it's off season, or is there anything even going on right now?
Yeah, so we have one athlete who has been basically on IR for the fall. Hurt himself, but he made the Mountain State Circuit Finals, which is here in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And so he's going to try and come back and enter the Circuit Finals, which is so the PRCA is divided up into circuits, just like college rodeos divided up into regions.
Okay.
The circuit's pretty similar. It's Colorado and Wyoming.
Nice.
And so he made the top 12 in the team roping in that, so he'll compete in that. Casper actually has a pro rodeo coming up in November that a few of our athletes are going to enter, and then there's some that are going to try and go hit the winter rodeos. A couple are going to go down to Arizona and rope there over winter.
That's nice warm.
Weather's a lot nicer
Yeah.
to go rope in. And then really the season will start off again in Denver in January at the stock show. So we'll have some athletes go down and enter that.
And so off season really isn't an off season. It's
No.
off season for college stuff, but as soon as that college fall season ends, it's like, all right, we're off doing pro stuff. We're practicing, we're resting, whatever you might need to do. Lots of rodeo.
Yeah, rodeo doesn't have an off season, if we're being honest. Like, it just doesn't. We have fall rodeos, we have spring rodeos in the college season, and then our national finals is obviously here in Casper in June. And so that gives you a small window from June to August, really, where college rodeo, you're not doing college rodeo, and then
Right.
from November to February, really. And so that's you get a little bit of off season, but like we just talked about, there's rodeos, there's jackpots. You're going and entering during those times, especially in the summer. Mm-hmm. July, August, those are the biggest rodeo times anywhere, really. There's rodeos every day in those months. And so we don't get the time off like other sports do. And so that's why we have to manage when we do, okay, who needs rest? Who wants to keep going to work? I'm all for it, but we got to take care of our bodies. This is the time, this winter, this little bit of winter that we have, this is when we take it. Because when we come back in the spring semester, we've got to hit the ground running again.
And is that kind of your responsibility as a coach of just, now that the fall season's over, you're more just kind of managing personnel, saying, hey, you're doing great, let's rest you, or hey, you're on a roll, let's keep you kind of running, let's work on this in the off season. Is that kind of what your kind of role is right now during this off season?
Yeah, I definitely am part of those conversations. They're adults. They can make their decisions themselves. And we always say, we're not going to be there for every run they make. It's separate, again, from basketball or something like that. These kids are going to go enter events. They're going to go enter opens, rodeos, things like that, all around, and we're not going to be there at all of them. And so part of our job as coaches here is to help build them up to be self-sufficient so they know the right decisions to make, and how do we have these conversations and to make the right decisions, and what should we do here and what should we do here. Hey, tell me what you're feeling. How's this feeling? Is this a little sore? Okay, let's maybe adjust practice. Maybe not take it away, but let's just adjust, things like that. Hey, even our horses. Man, I know you want to practice, but your horse needs time off. They're sore too. They're athletes as much, if not more than us. Yeah. So, we got back and we took these last couple days off, Monday, Tuesday. Let's rest, recharge, enjoy fall break. But, give your horses a break and give yourself a break. And
all right. Well, Coach, I think I'm glad that we ended on a little bit. We've been trending in the right direction, especially after the Lamar one. We had some great runs, got some good points. Continue that in LCCC in Cheyenne, and had a good run. The men are a little improving, especially with that Corey that winning the all-around second, all sorts of fun stuff. And then the short round with the calf time that he got the fastest time, which was super awesome. But it's good to see we're trending in the right direction. Well, I'm feeling good. Sounds like you're feeling good. I don't know. What else can we say about it?
No, we're doing good. I'm excited. Let's keep rolling and get back to rodeo in the spring.
Love it. Well, fans, you heard it. No more rodeo for you until the spring. So unless you follow some pro rodeo or whatever it might be. But hopefully you're anxiously waiting, because we will be. Faith will definitely bring you back in because we love talking to you. But until then, we'll see you next time.